Hello viewers, you are welcome to my YouTube channel Fussy Botany. This will be the third and the last part of discussions on the stem modifications, which deals with the aerial modifications of the stem. Aerial stem modifications are the specialized adaptations of the above ground stems, vegetative buds and floral buds of the plants. These modifications allow the plants to perform functions beyond their typical roles of support and conduction, enabling them to thrive in the diverse environment. Some of the characteristic features are the plants with the weak stem modifications like tendril provide support by coiling around the other structures, allowing the plant to climb upwards. Some aerial stems develop into sharp woody thorns, offering defense against the herbivores. In certain plants, particularly those in the arid region, stems become green, flattened, or cylindrical and take over the photosynthetic function and often reduce or absent to minimize the water loss. The modified aerial buds of the stem segments can detach from the parent plant and develop into new independent plants, aiding in sexual reproduction. While less common than in underground stems, some aerial modifications can store food material. Some of the common modifications are tendrils, thorns, phylloclades, cladodes, bulbils, and hooks. Stem tendrils are slender, wiry, and often coiled structures that develop from the stem. They are highly sensitive to touch. Examples are passion flower, that is passiflora, cucurbit like cucumber, pumpkin, and watermelon. The stem tendrils are the modifications of the stem itself, or more specifically, they develop from the axillary bud or the terminal bud. This distinguishes them from the leaf tendrils, which originate from the leaf parts. They are typically long, thin, and wiry or thread-like structures which help them explore the surrounding for support. Once the stem tendril makes contact with the support, it typically coils tightly around it in spiral fashion. This coiling provides a strong grip and anchors the plant securely. The coiling is a result of differential growth, that is, one side growing faster than the other in response to touch, that is, thigmotropism. The stem tendrils are highly sensitive to physical contact. When their tips brush against an object, this tactile stimulus triggers a growth response that causes them to coat and coil around the support. While they originate from the stem tissue, stem tendrils generally do not bear prominent leaves. Any leaves present are usually minute scale-like structures. Depending on the plant species, a stem tendril can be a simple unbranched filament or it can be branch out, increasing its chance of finding support. Many stem tendrils are green and contain chlorophyll, meaning they can perform photosynthesis, contributing to the plant's food production even if it is secondary function. After coiling around the support, the tendril often develops stronger mechanical tissue, that is sclerenchyma, to provide a robust and lasting support for the climbing plant's increasing weight. Thorns are hard, rigid, and sharp pointed structures that serve as defense mechanisms for the plant. Examples are citrus, bougainvillea, carissa, duranta, etc. Botanically, a thorn is a modified stem or a modified axillary branch. This means it originates from an axillary bud just as a normal branch would. Because they are true stem modifications, thorns contain vascular bundles, that is xylem and phloem, within them, just like a regular stem. This allows for the transport of the water and nutrients to and from the thorn. This is the internal vascularity differentiates them from the pickles like those on the roses, which are the epidermal outgrowth and lack vascular tissue, and also the spines, which are the modified leaves. Thorns typically develop in the axils of the leaf. The position further confirms this stem origin, as axillary buds normally arise in this location. Thorns are generally hard, woody, and sharply pointed structures, providing effective mechanical deterrence. Since they are modified stems, thorns can sometimes, in rare cases, bear small, reduced leaves or even flowers. Though this is not a common for the primary defensive role, more often the leaves are reduced and die quickly. Thorns often exhibit determinate growth, meaning they grow to a certain size and then stop growing, becoming fully hardened. The primary function of the thorns is the defense against the herbivores. Their sharp nature deters animals from browse or eating the plant's foliage. Depending on the plant species, a stem thorn can be a simple single point or it can be a branched one. Phylloclades are the flattened, green, and often succulent stems that has taken up the function of photosynthesis. Examples of Opuntia, Euphorbia, etc. A phylloclade is a modified stem that becomes flat and green, closely resembling a leaf in its shape and color. This resemblance is so strong that it can easily be mistaken for a leaf by casual observation. Since it is green, the primary function of the phylloclade is photosynthesis. In plants with the phylloclade, the true leaves are often reduced to spines or the scales to minimize water loss, and the stem takes over the role of food production. As a modified stem, phylloclade retains the fundamental stem structure containing nodes and internodes, though these may be compressed or less obvious. At each node, the phylloclade, the true leaves are typically present in highly reduced form, such as spines, as in case of cacti, or minute scales. These reduced leaves are usually non-photosynthetic and often serve as protective function. Flowers and fruits or the new branches often arise from the axillary buds located in the axils of these reduced scale leaves at the nodes of the phylloclade. This is crucial botanical clue that we are looking at the stem and not a true leaf, as true leaves do not typically bear axillary buds. Phylloclades, being modified stems, can exhibit unlimited or indefinite growth, meaning they continue to grow and produce new segments like true leaves, which generally have determined or limited growth. In many xerophytic plants, phylloclades are also fleshy and succulent due to storage of water in their tissues. This, combined with the reduced surface area of the true leaves, is a vital adaptation for water conservation. A cladode is a green, flattened, or cylindrical stem of limited growth, which function as the leaf. The examples are asparagus, where the needle-like leaves are called as the cladodes. Ruscus, that is butcher's broom, where the leaf-like structures bear flowers on their surface. The cladodes are typically flattened, green, and broadened superficially, resembling true leaves. Their primary function is to carry out photosynthesis just like leaves. Despite their leaf-like appearance, cladodes are modified stems. This is evidenced by their development in the axil of small scale-like true leaf. The presence of nodes and internodes, though these may be highly compressed or inconspicuous. The presence of axillary buds in the axils of the minute scaly leaves on which the flowers and fruits may arise. While phylloclades can have unlimited growth, cladodes are generally characterized by the limited growth, meaning they consist of one or few internodes. They do not typically continue to elongate indefinitely like a stem. Bulbils are the fleshy, modified axillary or floral buds that detach from the parent plant and can grow into a new independent plant. Examples are Diascorea and agave. Bulbil is essentially a small specialized bud either a vegetative bud or a modified bud that detaches from the parent plant. It is a miniature preformed plant. Bulbils can vary in shape and size depending on the plant species. They can be spherical, oval, or somewhat irregular. They are often compact and fleshy. Bulbils typically develop in specific aerial locations on the parent plant, like leaf axils in the angle between a leaf and the main stem. Example is Diascorea, or in a place of or alongside flowers on the flower stalk, as in case of agave, or on the stem directly. Bulbils are the form of asexual reproduction. Like other vegetative propagules, bulbils contain stored food reserves which provide energy necessary for the new plant to establish itself once it detaches and germinates. Upon reaching maturity, bulbils naturally detach from the parent plant. When they fall onto suitable ground, they can root and grow into a new independent plant. Stem hooks are a specific type of aerial stem modification where the parts of the stem or the structure derived from the stem become hardened, sharp, pointed, and curved, primarily serving the purpose of climbing and attachment. They can be found in the axils of the leaf or along the stem where the inflorescence would typically arise. Examples are Artabatis and Hugonia. Once formed, these structures are generally persistent and remain on the plant, providing continuous support. In Artabatis, the inflorescence axis, that is the peduncle, is modified into a strong woody recurved hook. Instead of developing flowers directly, the peduncle becomes the stiff curved woody hook, and this hook helps the plant to climb and anchors it firmly to the supports. Whereas in case of Hugonia mixtax, the axillary branches or bantlets are modified into pairs of woody sarcinate hooks. These are also served for climbing and attachment. The branches bear a pair of strong woody recurved hooks, giving its mustache-like appearance, hence the name mixtax. The main role of the stem hooks is to enable the plant to ascend. The pointed woody nature of the hooks gives protection against the herbivores. Stem is the central axis of the plant shoot system, are generally known for their roles in providing structural support, displaying leaves and flowers, and transporting vital nutrients and water throughout the plant. However, in response to various environmental pressures and evolutionary demands, angiosperms have developed an incredible array of stem modifications. These are specialized forms that deviate significantly from the typical stem structure, allowing plants to perform additional crucial functions which are essential for their survival, propagation, and adaptability to the diverse habitats. These modifications manifest in various forms and serve different purposes. Underground modifications primarily function in food storage and pollination, allowing plants to survive unfavorable seasons. Subaerial modifications are predominantly involved in efficient vegetative propagation. Lastly, the aerial modifications provide defense, offer support for climbing, and take over photosynthesis when the leaves are reduced, demonstrating the remarkable versatility and adaptive capacity of the plant stems.